Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Erin Elizabeth Warenberg. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you are new here, thank you so much. And if it's your first time, welcome. Today we're doing a pick a card reading for the full moon we have today in Virgo. This is also a snow moon. Most names of the moons come from North America or Europe, so they tend to be aligned with weather that goes on in the northern hemisphere in those parts of the climate. So the snow moon is clearly named because this is the time of year when we get a lot of snow. And also full moon in Virgo. Full moons are about the end of the lunar month. It's about cycling things out. It's about closing. It's about letting things go that aren't serving you. So I hope you take some time today to reflect and maybe write some affirmations about things you want to let go of, cycles that you noticed are coming out that aren't serving you anymore. And then for the pick a card reading, my intention is to maybe give you a little message from spirit that can help guide you to get maybe a little more clarity in our life. Okay, so like usual, I've inserted a picture of the cards, overhead shot. There's 3 groups. You can take a minute, you can pause the video, you can just tap into yourself. Just take a moment to settle into your body and don't overthink it. Just trust which group feels right to you. Pick group 1, group 2, or group 3. You can pick by the numbers. You can pick by which of the angel cards speaks to you. You can pick by my voice. When you're ready, all the timestamps are listed below. So I will see you at the reading you choose. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 1. So you pick the angel card, the guardian angel of young love. How cute. So the card says, I accept love with gratitude. I am opened and made whole by its beauty. Very nice. So just a message right off the bat before we get into your tarot and the other oracle cards. Just remember that you are deserving of love. Sometimes when we get older or if we're working through patterns or we have shame, maybe as we're trying to heal ourselves, we might think I'm not worthy of love anymore or pure love or innocent love or whatever you want to say. But this card, I just want to let you know if you do need to release something this month, maybe it is, that you're not deserving of love and care in a way that your ego wants you to think. Okay, the truth is you are worthy. We're all born worthy, and it's just something that can't be taken away from us. So I accept love with gratitude. I am opened and made whole by its beauty. So that just warms my heart. It's so nice. Okay, so like usual, I'm going to start with your tarot, and then we'll pull your oracle cards afterward to get some clarity. Okay, opening your reading. Wow, very nice. We have the star. Then we have 10 of wands. Then we have 3 of swords. King of cups in reverse. Chariot. The hermit. The moon. The world. And 4 of pentacles. Okay, let me just say there's a lot of major arcanas here. Out of 9 cards, there's 5 major arcanas. So this could be a very powerful time in your life right now. Maybe powerful in a negative way if you're feeling like you have to grow and you don't really like to, but there's a lot of powerful energy here. I see a lot of clarity about being true to yourself coming up and just kind of releasing maybe some things that aren't serving you. So okay, let me just start. Okay, so I see the star here. This card is always about rebirth. It's always about kind of like watering your soul. It's about kind of releasing things that, again, are not serving you and don't serve you anymore. So maybe this past lunar month or since Virgo season, which was last fall, well, in September-ish last time, since then, maybe just thinking about what are the ways that you've kind of like renewed your spirit? What are the ways that you've shown up for yourself? What are the ways that you've just been able to cultivate some peace and love to yourself? Because with this right next to each other, you needed a break. This person is breaking their back carrying all those wands and just just trying to make everything happen when you're pushing yourself a little too hard. So when we have that 10 of wands, this is just a sign for us to remember that it's important for us to take a break. It's important for us to not kill ourselves with things, and even not in a way it might not even be all negative things, right? It could be sometimes we overburden ourselves because we want to be involved in too many things. We care about too many things. We want to put our energy into too many things. And so this is like a sign of, you know, where are you overextending yourself? Where do you think you need to be doing, doing, doing? We live in this capitalistic system that encourages us to just be doing things all the time. And even if they're all positive things that we're doing or helpful things that we're doing, if they're not actually serving us by bringing us more peace, it's not good. You know, it's not it's not helpful for us. So I think this is about looking about, you know, what can you how can you replenish yourself? How can you put some of these things down? Because that also it goes into the Three of Swords, right? So you might be breaking your own heart with this stuff. You might be breaking your own heart in the ways that you are extending yourself by thinking you're doing all the right things when that's not actually what your soul wants you to be doing, right? Your soul wants you to look at that person. No wands, no swords in sight. Just hanging out by the water, right? So this might be something for you to think about. What can I put down and how can I stop breaking my own heart, right? This is about heartbreak, obviously. You know, people see this card and it's triggering, but you know, it really is about like, what am I putting expectations into, or where am I giving my time and energy away that maybe actually isn't the best thing for me? You know, what are some ways that it just doesn't feel like I'm doing all that I can to honor myself and honor my boundaries and not just be, you know, carrying too much stuff. Like I can feel it in my lower chakras. Like it really feels like there's just a lot of clinged up, caught up energy of, you know, ways that actually you can't flow. You can't use the star energy to flow if you're really committed to carrying things that you don't need to be carrying, and just breaking your heart. In the long term, it's going to break your heart. Even if you don't feel it right away, it's going to cause you stress and problems with your heart, because this isn't what you should be doing. You know, we need to not overextend ourselves. And so I think what's going to come from that is King of Cups in reverse, right? So we have some energy here around King of Cups is emotional. He's emotionally in tune. He's like has a lot of power and in his power and feels good about himself, but it's because in the upright, right? Because he feels his feelings and all that stuff. But since he's in the reverse here, you know, you're kind of losing touch with some of that ability to tune into yourself. Again, some of this flow energy that we see in the star. So here we need to look at what are the ways that you might be blocking your own flow, blocking your own intuition, blocking like your personal power to like your energy and your emotions and your feelings, like want to be in a constant state of movement. You're not supposed to just be stagnant and like, you know, be blocking everything. And there's a difference between being still and being stagnant, right? So this card is saying, just think about what are the ways that, you know, maybe with this full moon, you want to release some ways that you haven't been super intuitive. You haven't been listening to yourself. You haven't been holding space for yourself to feel your feelings and have your emotions and, you know, all of that stuff. Because once you can take a moment to pause and do that, we move into, again, very powerful here, two major arcanas in a row, the Chariot and the Hermit back to back. So the Chariot is about slow movement and the Hermit is about being a hermit. I mean, obviously, you know, so we have the slow movement and part of that is some time of inner reflection. So I think this is really saying to me, you need to really take the time, take the Chariot time to think about what are the ways that I have not been in alignment with my emotions? What are the ways that I don't feel like, regardless of your gender, I don't feel like a king, I don't feel powerful, I don't feel clear about my emotions. And so therefore I'm not able to kind of show up in the way that I know I can and the way that I know that I am in my heart. And so just taking a little bit of forward motion towards yourself with that, because look at, I love this combination. It doesn't happen always, but you see what's in the Hermit's thing is the star, right? He's got the star right in there. So it's important to think about the Chariot is, you don't lose your star energy. You don't lose that flow to yourself. You don't lose the ways that you can show up for yourself. But what can happen is we can get disconnected. And sometimes, you know, we do need to take a little pause. And this is also what I'm hearing is this can be a time for you to stop looking at things outside of you. Stop worrying about like ruling your kingdom. Stop worrying about doing all these things. And instead, you know, take a moment to go inward, to reconnect to that inner flow to take the slow steps, or baby steps, or just even asking yourself, like, hey spirit, hey self, can you communicate to me where I went wrong? Can you communicate to me what type of support you need right now? And then the hermit, taking that time to connect to yourself, taking that time to really just be still enough to hear your heart, because sometimes we think we can hear ourselves, but if you've been doing this for a long time, right? Been hustling, been worried, been, I mean, whatever. It doesn't even have to be like physically doing things. It could just be mentally you're going all the time. If you've been doing that for a really long time, then, you know, you might not be able to super connect to your heart, to the star, to this beautiful star energy, this beautiful flow energy, this beautiful, like, nourishing, loving energy for yourself. So take the time to sit with yourself and be still enough to hear your heart, be still enough to discern between your ego and your heart, be still enough to just get clear about what really is for me, what really is things that I want to be doing and feel good to me, and what are things that I've just been doing because, you know, we all get swept up in this cycle. It's no judgment. I've been there, okay? But what are the ways that we've been disconnected from ourselves that we need to really tune back into our own hermit energy? And this doesn't mean like hermit in a negative way, right? It just means that, like, we always need to have self-reflection in our lives, and there are periods where it's going to be a little bit more externally focused, and there's going to be periods where we're a little bit more internally focused. And so this just might be a period where you need to, with this full moon, just really think about, okay, for the next lunar month, so until the next full moon, what are some ways I can, like, show up for myself, and just kind of open that energy towards myself to welcome in some of that awareness and reconnection to myself. Because what I see when you'll do that, this is really, really, really wonderful. We move into the moon, the world, and then Four of Pentacles. But I want to talk about these two first because, again, two major arcanas in a row. So this is four in a row, right? So we have the Chariot, the Hermit, and then the moon and the world. So this is a big message for you, okay? So the moon and the world. So the moon is very much represented for our subconscious. It's very much represented, like, our intuitive ability, our voices coming forward, like kind of the things that maybe don't make logical sense, but we can really feel in our heart are the right thing to do and the things for us. So I think when you move towards that hermit energy, you move towards, like, really sitting with yourself and really opening that energy up to receive your inner voice. And you can be with yourself all day long and not be connected to yourself at all, right? If you're just mindlessly watching things or not engaging with yourself or not connected to yourself, right? So this doesn't mean, like, it's about mindfully being with yourself, not just, like, not paying attention to what it's like to be with yourself. So we move into the moon, and I think what can come up for you is getting clear about what are the ways that just what am I hearing? What's coming up for me? What is all of that? So here, maybe something about maybe what's a truth in your heart that it's taken you maybe a while to come around to. What's something that you can feel your intuition is speaking to you about, but is a little, you're not quite sure. And so I think, and of course, getting the moon on the full moon is very nice. But this card in particular is about your subconscious energy. So what can you feel is coming through for you that maybe you had a little doubt about before, and maybe didn't feel the best for you to be honest and connect to? Because the truth is, we can have all the mental guidance we want, we can have all the logic we want, but our intuition is our intuition for a reason. And so we need to trust the ways that is coming up and what it's guiding us towards. And so I'm really hearing this message strongly again too, of maybe feeling like you were doing all the right things, but it didn't feel good for you still. And that's the point of it. That's the point of the moon. That's the point of our intuition, is we can on paper be doing everything good and everything right and everything according to everyone else. But if you aren't embodying that's what's really in your heart with this moon, like, you're just going to keep breaking your heart. So I really hear with this moon card, it's going to be important for you to really take some time to just check in with it. What do I want? What's in my heart? What's in my subconscious? What can I feel as a path for me? And just really kind of letting go of some of the ego stories, the ego attachments to things that, maybe you thought you wanted. Because even in the Chariot, you see the person, they're moving away from, like, a kingdom. They're moving away from some physical abundance, which, again, in our modern world is encouraged what life is all about, right? But sometimes you need to go by how something feels and what does it feel for you. And so maybe this full moon thinking about what can I release that I feel like I thought I needed many, many, many times, but it's actually not what's for me. It's actually not what I need in my life. And look, this is really beautiful. Once you do this, what do we have? The world. The world is about lifetime. It's about ending of cycles. It's about long-term energy. So I feel like once you get clear about the things you want, it's going to be way easier for you to move forward and choose them. But maybe you didn't give it thought, or you were committed to doing something based on what you were told you had to do. I mean, any of that could be coming up for you. It's fine. This is just a general reading. But for the world, again, we want to think about this is a chance for you to create the world, to have the world, to do what you want. Like, you do not need to fall into some of these like smaller things that you were doing that maybe don't support you anymore, that maybe aren't the best for you, that you know like, what world do you really want, and then choosing to do that. And then I just see with this Four of Pentacles, this is just a reminder to be nice to yourself as you're doing this. I see like this is shifting some big energies for you, maybe some big stories you've committed to for a long time in your life. So when I see this, you see he's got the pentacle covering his little heart chakra, right? So he's a little nervous. So it's okay to be cautious. It's okay to feel nervous. I want to remind you, you don't need to move at a pace that is faster than what feels okay for you, right? So we have to push ourselves out of our comfort zones a little bit, but you don't need to push yourself to the point that you feel so afraid or like, oh my God, am I going to do this? Anything like that. And that's kind of what we see with the Chariot. It's like a little bit of a slow, you know, not the freaking animals are laying down, so it's not a incredibly immediate pace. So if you feel like, oh my God, I'm getting some guidance about where I want to go, or what my truth is, or what's coming up for me, and then how that connects to abundance in my life, it's okay if your ego comes up. It's okay if some fear stories come up. It's okay if you want to protect some things that maybe uh, feel sacred and safe to you. That's okay. You don't have to let go of everything right away. This isn't immediate overnight. So this is just get with this full moon, just get really honest about the ways that maybe you've been overcommitting to things outside of you that aren't actually a match for you, and then looking at the ways that maybe you need to just affirm yourself that it's safe and it's okay for you to make these changes. It's okay for you to do things differently, and all of that. You don't have to, change isn't to throw you into, it's to help you grow, but it's not to throw you into like total chaos and feeling like completely in control, right? Okay, next we'll finish with your oracle cards. Okay, wow, this is really nice. Okay, I'm just looking at which one I start with. Okay, I think this kind of goes with what we were just talking about, so we'll start with this one. We have take risk. Okay, so again, just want to remind you that, when you stop living and carrying what everyone else expects you to do, it's going to be a little uncomfortable. When you choose something that maybe you thought you were never going to be choosing, or you go down a life path, or you admit something to yourself that you wanted that you never thought you were going to choose, it's, a little scary to go out of that thing, but out of that limiting belief, out of that thought pattern we've committed to for a long time. But this is just really reiterating, take risk. We have this beautiful mountain goat, so maybe some Capricorn energy if you're a Capricorn, or something to do with a Capricorn in your life. Just climbing that and just knowing that you will never, if you don't do one thing differently, you're not going to be able to get anything else differently in your life, right? So this is just really about like taking a risk, making sure that you are using all the opportunities you have, and not like in a reckless way, but it is important for you, again, to kind of be honest about how can you have a little bit of different things in your life, and then taking a little risk to get there, doing something different. It doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be like you're doomed if you do this. Okay, so let's start with this one. Okay, so we have the sloth here. Digital detox, recalibrate, reset, and recharge. So really good. Love this card. Love a sloth. Love a good sloth, right? So when we think about, you ever seen those videos of sloths crossing the street, and it's like, I mean, it's just unbelievable, right? So they're going as fast as they can, and it's still like that. And so I think what I'm hearing with this card is just remember that the pace that you move with this Chariot energy, and you connect to yourself, and you hear your subconscious, like, that's perfectly fine. if you're doing the best you can do, you don't have to beat yourself up about it. I'm sure a sloth isn't like, oh, I need to move so much faster to get this thing, right? We just think a sloth is slow because they're slow compared to us. But if a sloth was the only creature in the world, they would be the fastest creature in the world. So you don't need to like overthink the ways that you need this process for yourself. So maybe as Virgo, also earth sign, so maybe what are some ways that you can get a little more grounded in your life. And also I love it says digital detox, because we have it's amazing, it's a plus, we have access to everything we want online at any moment if you have internet connection. But sometimes with all those voices, like that can kind of lead us to do some of this, because we're listening to all this stuff, we're looking for all this stuff to affirm us, that if we don't take the time to connect to our own inner voice, then we're just not going to be able to get there for ourselves. So really, maybe you do need to detox from the internet a little bit. Maybe you do need to spend a little bit more time journaling than scrolling for some inspiration, right? We all have tools we have access to that can help us, but we need to notice when we're out of alignment in ourselves and using them to affirm something versus when it's just like a habit and we're just like doom scrolling for nothing. Okay, then these two kind of go together and they kind of look similar, so I'll share them together. So we have align your life, what is not aligned or needs to change. And then we have activating the third eye. And the back says, I am willing to see beyond my beliefs, ideas, and confusions. I love these together, first of all. Great color scheme. Second of all, this is the whole theme of your reading, right? So align your life and activate the third eye. So really, what are the ways that your subconscious, so the moon and the star, what are the ways that you maybe haven't been super listening to yourself? What are ways that you've been making your life harder than it needs to be? What are ways that you are not living in alignment to your true self because you think you need to do X, Y, and Z thing to have X, Y, and Z life? Okay. And again, when we activate our third eye, that's like our intuitive point. It's our intuitive chakra. So how can I'm willing to see beyond my beliefs, ideas, and conclusions. Maybe I said confusions before, Freudian slip, but my beliefs, ideas, and conclusions. So, what are the ways that you can kind of surrender this? What are the ways that you can trust that if I have this certain desire in my heart, then that is good enough for me to be able to create the life that I want, right? And so, just really getting clear about what are some things you can release on this full moon. Maybe you need to release like, I can't have X amount of money if I don't have this job, or I can't have this romantic partner because of this. So I think, what is not aligned or needs to change, right? We see like this person's really, really fractured, really like just disconnected from themselves. So what are the ways that you, maybe you've kind of like exiled a part of yourself and you don't feel like it's okay, or you don't feel like you're allowed to have that part of you. Okay, that's everything I have for you. I hope this served you. Thank you so much. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. And thank you so much for choosing to be here. I hope you have a wonderful full moon and hope to see you next time. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 2. So you picked the guardian angel of young adults. I am guided and protected as I begin to choose my path in life. Very beautiful. So maybe if you're not a young adult, that's fine. Like sometimes maybe energetically we feel connected to young adult energy. So just a message right away for people who pick group number 2. Maybe you are at a place with this full moon. Again, when we talk about full moons, we want to release patterns. It's a time to let go of things. So as you're choosing a new path in life, sometimes that can be scary, especially if we have, we think we built all this momentum choosing this one life, but then we choose something different. So just remember that I am guided and protected as I begin to choose my path in life. You can say, as I begin to choose a new path in life, anything like that. But just remember that, you are protected. And when you do make a life change, or if you feel like it's not your choice, right? But sometimes change pushes us to that next layer of where we want to be or need to be in our lives. And so knowing that, when we do have the young adult energy of like starting over, starting new, this isn't to punish you or harm you. It's just to remind you that, there's always something lucky in something that might seem unlucky, or there's always a blessing in something that might seem hard or challenging at first. So I love this just right away for you to just kind of feel like every time we make a change, like it's from something good. It's from divine energy. It's from, a way that we've expanded past our old way of existing. So if it doesn't feel good right now, hang in there, have faith. Just remember that or if you are wondering if you should choose a new life path, just having faith that, if you are being guided to that, this could be a time for you to really connect to that and just trust it. So love that right away. Okay, so like usual, I'm going to start with your tarot, and then I will clarify with some oracle cards at the end. Okay, so starting off, we have Nine of Swords, and we have King of Wands, and then Three of Swords. Then we have Eight of Cups, the Fool, the Moon, Chariot, the High Priestess, and Five of Pentacles. Okay, so you have 4 major arcana cards in a row here. So I think this is the theme for all the readings today so far, has been big changes and just trusting that it's time to start something new. So we can end the reading. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm going to get into it, but with this full moon Virgo is an earth sign. It is about being a little meticulous. It is about having a plan. It is about being committed to doing things. So if you feel like you're at the place in your life where it's time to do something different, I just want to tell you that is supported here. But okay, we'll start with the beginning. So I feel like it hurts my heart. I feel like you did something, or were doing something, or were involved in I don't know, something is going on that you did it and it looked good on the outside, but it was actually hurting you so much. So this is kind of like, what the hell am I doing? No, everything's fine. Look, I have all this stuff. Everything's fine. Look at my life. Look at my world. Everything's okay. But actually my heart is broken. So if you feel like maybe it could be a relationship. I'm getting maybe some energy around like a job, or how you have to be, just a way that you were showing up that didn't feel authentic or didn't feel like it aligned with you, and you had some doubts about it, but it still was very painful. This is kind of like the nightmare, wake up in the middle of the night, hands in the head, like, oh my God, what am I doing? I can't believe I'm doing this. Maybe some shame, some judgment of yourself, maybe feeling like, can't believe this is what happened. I can't believe I chose this. I can't believe I let it get to this, because when we see King of Wands, so it doesn't feel like that it was like a total destruction of your outer world. Like maybe you had things that looked like things were going on, but you see with the King of Wands, very stoic, very solemn, right? So maybe everything looked fine on the outside, and maybe it was one of those things that you were doing a lot of internal struggle with it. And it was more of a private collapsing. It was more of like something that like, oh my God, I can't believe this is what I chose. How did I get here? I can't believe this is like this. So I'm just feeling, I just want you to give yourself some love and compassion right now. It feels very sad to me. It feels very, it's a lot of self-judgment I'm feeling. Because again, look, just kind of breaking your own heart, just kind of like, not just once, but continuing to break it, continuing to break it. It's raining on you. I mean, just like a lot of, it feels like you kept trying to show up and be good and do the right thing, but it just wasn't working. It just didn't match for you, but you felt like you just had to keep doing it for some reason. And then no judgment, right? Like sometimes it has to get to a certain point for us to be like, oh yeah, actually I don't want this at all. So no judgment there, but I just see, yeah, this was a very painful time for you. And you tried to act like, no, it's fine. Everything's fine. I have everything. I have my house and my car and I have all my things. But actually, your poor little heart. Yeah. So just if you haven't given yourself some love and compassion for doing the best you could do at that time, please do that. That's the first thing. Okay, that's the first thing we'll say. And then I feel like, you know, knowing what that felt like, because this is kind of cards, this is more of like the present energy as we move through the reading a little bit. You did choose to walk away from it. You did choose to leave something. Cups are about like kind of feelings or emotions or things being fulfilled. So this is someone walking away. You're not walking away from nothing, right? There's a lot here still. So things you chose to leave, things you, so I'm just hearing if this is you and you ended something or you left something, it was the right choice. You can be proud of yourself that, you know, if you feel like this inside, no matter what this looks like, that's not the right thing for you. So I feel like this moon is really saying kind of let go of some of that self-judgment, let go of some of that doubt, let go of some of the, is this the right thing? Could this have been the right thing if I feel like this, or you know, whatever. So just kind of like holding space for yourself and just knowing that it was the right thing. You did the best you could. It took the time it took, and that's fine. But it was okay for you to walk away and to leave that. Because if it hasn't already, soon I feel like what we're going to see, and this is again, we have 4 major arcanas in a row, so this is amazing. So we have the Fool into the Moon. Do I want to get all of them at once or not? The Fool into the Moon, the Chariot to the High Priestess. Just look at that. I mean, how amazing. We'll start with these two. So, you know, once you walked away, there obviously is sadness, there is loss, there's a grieving period. Of course, whenever we make change in our life, even if it's a loss we choose or something different we choose, there still is a time where we, you know, do need to recover from that. And so I see, you know, you got a little skip in your step again, right? There's a little renewal energy. There's kind of like, oh my God, it does feel good to like do something different, to choose myself, to just feel a little bit better and just feel like, okay, this was the right thing. This is an amazing thing for me. I know, like just like a little bit of lightness and freedom. So just kind of just even moving away from the situation just feels like kind of like a breath of fresh air. Like this is it. This was good. This was a good choice for me. I feel happy. I feel proud of myself. And then what can happen when we just kind of like when it just feels less heavy immediately, even if like if we let something go and even if we haven't like completely healed it, or you know, grief is a process, letting go is a process, right? But that does immediately put us back in touch with the Moon card, which is our subconscious. So I feel like this lightness energy, this beautiful light energy of like, I'm ready to try again. I just feel better. Like if it just feels lighter immediately, even if there's some physical reality things that need to shift around and change, then that can be an affirmation for you. That can be like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to figure it out, but I am. But if your energy doesn't feel like this anymore, I mean, that's a win in my personal opinion here, unless you want to unless you want to be all about materialism only, which you know that is a choice we can make. But I feel like energetically just feeling lighter is immediately allowing you to connect to this moon energy, just allowing you to connect to your intuition, your subconscious, your ability to feel clear within yourself, your ability to just kind of like show up for yourself in a way that, you know, maybe when we feel like this, when we feel so disconnected from ourselves, it's so hard to hear anything. It's so hard to hear any guidance. So just kind of like removing yourself from something that wasn't serving you just really is going to clear up a lot of that energy. And then immediately you don't have to do that much different for, you know, right away, but just immediately feeling some of this clear energy of just your subconscious coming forward, you know, a little bit more than it could in like a situation that's very soul sucking and very, very hard. Okay. And then the Fool, again, just kind of like swinging your step, lighthearted, like ready to look at life, you know, move forward. And so I think that's some of the initial energy. And then with this Virgo full moon, you're ending your reading with the Chariot, the High Priestess, and the Five of Pentacles. So I think with this full moon is just looking at what things did I learn or think about myself during this time, this thing I left that I don't want to believe anymore? What can we kind of clean up? What can we clean house? Maybe there's some physical things you need to get rid of, but maybe there's some energetic beliefs about yourself. Maybe there's some, distorted, we can get a distorted view of ourselves when we're in a situation that is like very toxic or not healthy for us. So what are some things you need to clear up? Because what I'm seeing here with this Fool and Moon energy going into the Chariot and the High Priestess is you are on your way back home to yourself. This makes me smile. It's so nice. So this Chariot of this slow, chariots, again, not sprinting, just kind of calm, cool, collected. So it might feel like you're moving at a glacial pace, but you're moving. It might feel like, oh my God, I've been doing this for, maybe this painful situation was a year ago or 2 years ago, or, I feel like I've been doing this forever. Like it's been so long, but you just have to have faith that when you do this chariot, when you're in the chariot, when you're moving, you're going to get there. It might be a little slower than your ego would like, but it is moving. It is helping you. You are on your way. And look, if you continue on that path to just having some lightheartedness, some connection to your subconscious, it is going to bring you to this High Priestess energy, which is total embodiment of, intuition, spiritual awareness. It's kind of like, a little bit, the moon is more of like our subconscious moods and emotions. And you think of the High Priestess as like, just like this huge intuitive channel coming through you. So just the ability to really connect to your higher self, your ability to connect to your intuitive voice, your ability to kind of hear yourself in a very refreshing and wonderful way that maybe you couldn't in this other situation because you were so, again, disconnected from yourself. You were just trying to survive, basically. You're just trying to get through it. So you really lost this connection to yourself. So I see, in this full moon, what can be helpful for you to release, because again, full moon, you don't want to focus on calling new things in, you want to focus on releasing. That's what the full moon is for. New moon is for calling in. So full moon, you want to focus on like, okay, what can I release around? Maybe this could even be around, do I even know myself? Can I even trust myself if I was in this horrible situation, right? So just looking at what are the ways that maybe you need to let go of the pace that you think you need to be moving at, right? So everything is in divine timing, divine order, always, even if our ego wants to say elsewise. So maybe you want to let go of what do I feel like I can't embody because of this experience? What do I feel like I can't have because of this experience? And just kind of letting that move through you and letting that, just not have to be the truth of how you see yourself anymore, because it's not. I'm just going to tell you it's not. And then I think this is really powerful energy. And then we're closing with the Five of Pentacles. So this isn't a bad omen at the end of everything. What I feel from it with all these other cards is just a reminder to be nice to yourself. Just a reminder that, these people obviously are going through a hard time. So you are going with this Chariot energy again. You are going to be moving forward and coming back in from the cold, but maybe it's not at a pace, again, that feels good for you. So just have a little faith and compassion to yourself, right? If you break your leg, you're not going to be like, just because you get a cast or whatever, you're not going to be up and moving and running and walking like nothing happened one day later, right? You have to go through the process of it. So this is reminding me, if it feels like you're nothing's working or nothing's happening or you gave so much up or whatever, this is just to remind you that it is a process. You are going to come in from the cold. You are going to have abundance in your life again. It is really important for you to just trust yourself and trust that every time you choose yourself, that is enough to create abundance in your life. Every time you say, okay, I'm not going to put up with this or this thing, you are slowly calling your energy back to yourself, and then you are going to be able to create the things that you want in your life and the spaces you want to have in your life and the way you want to do them in your life. Okay, so next we'll go with your oracle cards. Okay, so wow, very beautiful. Okay, we'll start with this one. polishing my heart. The back says, feeling is a power that helps me heal. So polishing my heart. So I think this could maybe be, again, with this full moon, kind of like, what am I still, when I talked about self-judgment and shame, what are some ways that maybe you're still judging yourself for the situation? What are some ways that, your heart is still a little jaded, or you're judging yourself, or you feel ashamed a little bit? So what are some ways that you could just call in a little bit more like, oh, that's not actually the truth of who I am. I just thought it was because of this limiting belief I learned from this place. So just what are the ways that you can just be a little nice to your heart, trust it's doing a good job. Again, just offer yourself a little bit of kindness will be always is a good, helpful move. So I think this is just what we were talking about. We have the bear card, you are the light. It is safe to step fully into your light. This is also Earth. We have the Earth symbol here. So with the Virgo full moon, Earth sign, very nice. So you are the light. It is safe to step fully into your light. So I think, again, as you maybe have some doubts or some judgments for yourself, what we were just talking about, just remind yourself, like, it's safe for me to be whole. It's safe for me to have abundance. It's safe for me to have the life I want. It's safe for me to have boundaries, right? So maybe there's a rebuilding period that might not feel the best, but you can't lose you. You can't lose your energy. And what I was talking about in terms of like, this might be a slower process where first it starts as the moon and then it gets a little more actualized as a high priestess. So trusting that you are this bear energy. It is, you can't lose any magical part of you because it's you inherently. Okay, and then last two, we have the outlaw. We can see it a little bit. And then we have Imrama, where are you being called to journey to? So I love these. I feel like this is just what we were talking about in the beginning, where, maybe you had a bunch of things that looked beautiful, looked great on the surface, but inside it was really hurting you. And so you had to kind of like be an outlaw to this, you had to be an outlaw to this image that people put on you, maybe to something you thought you wanted for yourself. You had to be an outlaw to a story you were carrying for a long time that, doesn't really serve you anymore. So what are the ways that, just really, again, just confirmation that you standing up for yourself and choosing yourself was a good thing, was the right thing to do. And then here, where you're being called to journey to, I think obviously since this is a otherworldly place, I think this isn't so much about your physical choices, but maybe having faith that it's time for you to build up your spirituality, having faith it's time for you to believe in things beyond physical reality. We are on Earth, so we do need to take physical reality into account. We do need to understand it as part of our experience, but it's not everything. So I think when we look at where are you being called to journey to, that might be the inner journey. Where are you being called to open yourself up? Where are you being called to, just show up for yourself, or maybe open yourself up to something energetically, or explore, or maybe something felt like, oh no, like that's not for me. That's not, that isn't who I am, but this is really affirming to me for you. Where are you being called to journey? Our soul always wants to evolve. It always wants to expand. And it's just up to you. Everyone hears it, but if you do it is another thing. So just don't sell yourself short. We have this one precious lifetime right now. So what do you want to do with it? Okay, that's everything I have for you. I hope this serves you. Thank you so much again for choosing to be here. I greatly appreciate it. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. And I hope to see you next time. I hope you have a wonderful, a bluebird just landed right out my window. I got distracted, but we have a wonderful full moon. Again, please write some affirmations, releasing things, just, letting go. Okay, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 3 for our full moon in Virgo reading. So just a reminder, full moons are about a time releasing. They're about a time to let go of things. They're about a time to kind of reflect and think on things cycles you don't want to continue in your life. So again, this is group 3, everyone who picked the Archangel Raphael. I am strengthened and healed by the power of divine love. Very, very beautiful. So maybe Raphael can offer you some healing assistance at this time. You can just Google like Archangel Raphael prayers if you want, or just call in that divine energy of like all of our guidance we have on the other side. Just remember, strengthened and healed by the power of divine love. If you're feeling maybe unhealed or unstrengthened right now, this might be a time for you to just remember that there is unlimited energy coming from the other side. They have unlimited abundance to support us and love us as we're on our physical reality path and journey. And yeah, just really tapping into that and just owning it, just kind of really asking for that love and care. And maybe if you have been looking for it in like some earth affirmation, just kind of knowing like you can get that affirmation and love and care from the divine, from divine love. So very beautiful message to start off the reading. Okay, so I, like always, will start with your tarot and then we'll clarify with your oracle at the end. Okay, so Queen of Wands in reverse. Then we have Knight of Wands, Six of Wands, so a lot of Wands energy right in a row. So the Star, King of Pentacles, Two of Wands, Seven of Cups, interesting, Eight of Swords, and Seven of Wands. Okay, so I feel like you're kind of in some forward momentum in your life right now. Again, with this full moon, we don't want to focus on calling new things in. We just want to be reflective about some things that happened and then maybe release some things that aren't helping us along the way anymore, right? So when we open with this Queen of Wands, this is I just feel like Queen of Wands going into the Knight of Wands here. I just feel like you knew something was not for you. You left something abruptly, right? So we see the Knight of Wands running away, running. So, Queen of Wands, maybe you see someone, we see a queen, we think, oh, they have it all, regardless of your gender, just queen energy, they have it all. They're really tuned in, they feel really good, they're really clear, they have everything they want. So we have that queen energy in the reverse, just feeling disconnected. So maybe something wasn't actually serving you to the best you thought it was, or maybe, just kind of, it just feels like just a quick cutoff, like just a really big, like, I don't want this, I'm leaving. So maybe if you didn't do that, or you've been thinking about doing that, that might be a message for you. Of course, as always with tarot, this is just, don't listen to me, listen to what's in your heart, but maybe you hear something that helps you get some clarity around it. But just feels like it was like made with a lot of haste, right? A lot of like, I have to leave, this isn't helping me, the end, I need to go. And so then we move into the Knight of Wands energy where very, very fast moving. Of all the Knight cards, this is the kind of like most in the air, ready to go, moving quickly type of energy. So to me, it just feels like there was something that was very much a hell no, this is not for me anymore, or is not, maybe you didn't even do it, but then you're moving into more of this energy of like, I need to run away. And then what happens is okay, maybe you got your footing now, right? So you're still on a horse, you're still moving around, but maybe you needed your footing a little bit, maybe you needed to just kind of let things get settled. The Six of Wands energy is a little celebratory, so maybe you've created some things in your life that have really served you. I see a lot of momentum in the first 5 cards of your reading, right? So this was kind of like, hell no, I left something, this is not for me. It could just be energetically leaving something, it could be a belief system about yourself, it could be physically leaving something. I mean, it doesn't matter any of that. And then you're like, I'm choosing something different. Then you have it. And then we go into the Star and the King of Pentacles. So I feel like here you continued on this path of like, okay, that was the right choice, I know where I'm going. And then look what got activated for you. So this is kind of we take steps in physical reality and we take like, okay, this is the thing, this is my right action I can do right now, and this is how things are moving for me. And then you combine that with the star is about like a lot of flowing energy. It's about, just being really in tune with yourself. And then of course, when that happens, that's when we create a lot of physical abundance in reality, in 3D reality. So of course, physical abundance is just a reflection of internal emotional abundance that we feel. So we have this King of Pentacles and the star here. So I feel like as you continued on, like finding your path and knowing what was going on for you and things that felt good for you, you've kind of, where you're at right now is embodying um, the abundance of that. It just feels really good. It just feels really clear. It feels like, yeah, I have like my inner guidance system is clear. I can hear myself. I give myself like, time to wash clean. I give myself time to just be nourished by myself. And then physical reality, maybe mirroring some of that for you. This doesn't mean that obviously, of course, as long as you're on earth, we're here to grow. So this doesn't mean that that's it. I'm stagnant. I'm not doing anything else ever again. Right. But this is just about, feeling proud. You should feel proud of yourself for the steps you've created in your life to create some intuitive um, growth and some physical reality growth. So even if you're like, oh, I'm not the King of Pentacles because I want to make this much money a year, but I'm only making this much. Okay, well, there was a time where you didn't make as much as you make right now, or there was a time where you didn't have something in physical reality that you have now. So just taking a moment to something you can release with this Virgo full moon is just releasing maybe some of the judgments you have about your own self-worth or the things you've done. Virgo is a card about, celebrating your hard work. So maybe this is, just making a list, just being proud of yourself. These are the ways that I have shown up for myself and my intuition. And these are the ways that I've shown up for myself in physical reality. And again, none of us gets it 100% perfect because we wouldn't need to be on earth if that was the case, right? But so this is things that, we just need to be open to, and we just need to get clear about, what are the ways that I have done this for myself and I can be proud of myself. So maybe using some of this full moon energy to kind of release some of the judgments or the the things that don't serve you anymore. And kind of where I see with this full moon now is, this is interesting. So we have the Two of Wands next. So I feel like you've kind of like, you've created some stability in your life. You feel like, okay, things are going good. I'm moving forward, all of that. Then we have our lovely friend, the Two of Wands, which is about, oh my God, what the hell do I choose? What's going on? What's for me? What is not for me? Any of that. So we look at this and it seems like you're kind of, there's a choice to make and you feel overwhelmed, basically. So I see like you're just spiraling into chaos, basically, is the energy I'm picking up on. So we have this Two of Wands into the Seven of Cups, into the Eight of Swords, into the Seven of Wands. Look at this. Okay, so I'm going to talk about it one by one. But with this full moon, I want you to release doubt that you can't do this cycle that we talked about in the beginning again. So the cycle of, this thing was not for me. I left. I continued on my path and I made some abundance for myself. So if you're in a place of making a decision about something, it could be you want to move somewhere new, or maybe choosing something about a relationship, or something with a job, just something like this where you see this person, they have the whole world in their hand, right? So the options are endless. And we see that here with the Seven of Cups too, also reflected of, there's a lot of options here. There's a lot of choices. And see this person, like, which one am I going to pick? Which one am I going to pick? And it could be you have more than two options, right? It could be you can move anywhere you want. It could be you could date anyone you want. It could be, you want to change your job into something, right? So I'm seeing what's coming up with this energy that I want to tell you to release, that maybe you can surrender and just journal about, is, what am I afraid of? Maybe you need to release some of these fearful thoughts because, it feels like maybe you're so overwhelmed by all the choices you could make, by the thing you could choose, that you just do nothing, right? So this card, Eight of Swords, is, you see this person, like they're tied up, but it's not that tight, and there's a bunch of swords around them, and like, I can't do anything. But it's a lot of fear, false evidence appearing real. That's a lot of the energy of this card of like, oh my God, I can't make it, like just kind of like frozen and you don't know what to do. And then that can lead to the Seven of Wands, so some inner conflict. Again, in both of these, there's a lot of swords and a lot of wands on these cards, but there's no other people in sight. So there can just be a lot of inner conflict, a lot of inner turmoil. This person, see, the shoes don't even match, right? They're about to fall off a cliff. So there's a lot of energy here of like just making yourself crazy by overthinking. So what I'm hearing and what I think would be helpful for you to do on this full moon or whenever you watch this video is just think about, okay, if I know I have gotten myself through something before, what do I need to release and surrender to know that I can do it again? If I have gotten to the place that I know I can't choose wrong, because we can't, you just get life experience and you can always choose again. So maybe there's some fear around, well, if I choose this, then I'm going to have to choose this, or this. And then if I choose that wrong, then all of that is wrong. But there's no such thing as choosing wrong. You just choose and then you get more clear and then you choose again. And if you think you're going to lose something by choosing wrong, just remind yourself that anything that is for you cannot miss you. And anything that's not for you, you can never have, no matter what it looks like, no matter any of that. So just reminding yourself that if you feel overwhelmed by a decision, that's okay. And you can use, again, some of this beautiful star energy to kind of like channel your intuition, journal on it, think about it. Don't think about all of these cards. To me, feel like making the decision from the ego. They feel like making the decision from what it looks like, from, is this the thing I should be doing? Is this what society is telling me to do? Is this whatever, all of that. But as we see here, right, I feel like this is a really beautiful energy to make a decision because this person is very still, they're very calm, it's a peaceful card, it's not chaotic. And just kind of connecting that within yourself and just being like, okay, if I trust myself to make a decision, if I think about all the ways that I've created things for myself in the past, how can I do that again? Right? How can I hold the world in my hand? How can I know that abundance is already mine? And so I cannot choose incorrectly and then move forward. And so I think all of these are just to remind you to stop overthinking it. You're going to try something. Maybe it's going to work. Maybe it's not, but it's going to be important for you to not go down that spiral of making yourself great. Because we can, you can overthink anything you want for as long as you want. You're allowed. But I think what I'm really hearing to tell you is, don't. Just like try, practice. I know, easier said than done, but just practice, knowing that if abundance really is true, if my life path is really meant for me to thrive, then what am I actually afraid of? And how can I have more faith? And how can I have faith in myself and also have faith in like this divine love we talked about at the beginning of the reading, this divine energy that can actually come through and support me at this time. Okay, and let's look at your oracle cards. Wow, okay. So we'll start with these two because this is what we were just talking about. So we have the Llama card, we have soul growth. Growth is never easy. Have fun and trust in the journey. And this also, we have Earth energy represented here, which again, today we have the full moon in Virgo. It's not the full moon when you're watching this, just it's a still message for you. So Llama, soul growth. So exactly what we're just talking about. Growth is never easy. Have faith and trust in the journey. I feel like this is exactly the energy you need to counter all of this chaotic energy. So all of the energy you need to connect to kind of like, just trust that soul growth is like whenever if growing and expanding was easy, right? Earth would just be like, okay, what a joke, So all of this stuff where you can spiral into craziness and doubting yourself and all of that, that's actually not healthy for you. It's actually not good for you. Just reminding yourself you can have soul growth, and so growth is never easy. Have faith and trust in the journey. So just really want to reiterate again, just lighten up. Don't take things too seriously. Maybe just getting a little peace and quiet for yourself, getting grounded. Again, we have some of that earth energy here. So it's really tapping into yourself. I think I'm seeing on this card, there's some mountains and then there's also some mountains on this card. So if you are somewhere near the mountains, being able to connect to that or just getting outside, connecting to nature, that's one of the easiest ways we have access to be able to feel grounded and feel in our bodies and present in each moment. So if that is accessible to you, I feel like that might be something helpful to kind of like calm some of these like, you know, spiral thoughts of fear, which again, there's nothing wrong with you. That's just part of growth. That's part of pushing yourself into something new. Is like growth is never easy, right? It's always going to bring up our limiting beliefs, always going to bring up our fears because our ego wants us to stay in our comfort zone because that's what we know. But that's actually, of course, as we know, not going to serve us long term. So no judgment, but just some awareness of around that. And I think just going along with that, we have answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? So very beautiful. Again, more mountains. So I feel like if you are near some earth, go outside and be in it. But answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? So this is, again, reinforcing to me when you're thinking about these decisions to make, don't think about it too logically. Like you need to be practical, right? You can't just, it's good to have some practical things in place. It's good to have some real world reality, like physical reality things we need to take into account when we make decisions. But I think this card is leaning more on, what is your soul calling you to do? Don't think things are impossible or like, okay, well, I think I want to do this, but I can't see the practical way to do it. Don't write it off yet. Don't judge yourself. Don't think that like everything's impossible just because, it might seem like, well, I don't know how it's going to happen. And that also, again, can lead to control, can lead to this fear spiral craziness. So just, again, what's my soul calling me to do? No judging. And then this is really interesting. Liberating love. This one says, I allow myself to receive all the fulfillment I'm willing to give. To the back says. Okay, so liberating love. I feel like this is just a beautiful message to just remind you that kind of what the angel card you picked in the beginning, I am strengthened and healed by the power of divine love. Like same thing. So sometimes if we don't call in a power greater than us, if we don't call in our higher power, spirit, God, whatever you call it, we can feel very alone and very overwhelmed on our journey. So this is just saying, remember, you do have divine guidance and support. You do have energy accessible to you. You do have this support in the unseen realms that is important for you to kind of like touch on and, just really, really connect to so you feel more comfortable moving forward. And then last one, we have withdraw. So look at this cute little fox. How cute. So I think this is, again, just saying kind of withdraw from your ego thoughts, withdraw from that spiral of, oh my God, what am I going to pick? And how am I going to pick it? And what's going to happen? Just kind of like taking some time to rest. Do you see like this beautiful, the sun is on it, but this beautiful fox is just kind of laying like, he just needs to rest. So just take some time. Remember, you don't have to decide right away. You don't have to decide your whole life from one decision, right? It's good to have like a goal, but you have to understand things happen and kind of change our destiny that are brought to us on purpose. So knowing that you can withdraw from overthinking about this, you can just focus on finding peace, just maybe doing some self-care, taking care of yourself, resting a little bit while you do try to think about, what is the next right and perfect action for you. Again, just more calm energy. I feel like with this fox, it's just reminding me again of going out in nature. So if that is something that is accessible to you, I feel like I'm hearing that's really going to be grounding and helpful for you at this time. Okay, that's everything I have for you. I hope this served you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. And please take some time to just honor yourself and channel what comes through for you on this full moon in Virgo. And again, thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you next time and have a wonderful day.